Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kristen from runfitmama.net, and today I want to tell you all about my experience at the Princess Half Marathon weekend. It's a little different this time because we had sunrise yoga to start the whole weekend off, which was wonderful. So I had a full notebook full of notes. I have a lot of videos I'm going to film today, including all 4 days of the races and the yoga. Plus, I'm going to update you on my running schedule for the rest of the year and my goals for January. So we'll talk about that in the next video. But so as we get into this sunrise yoga, I will tell you that it was the first time runDisney has ever done this for people that are not cast members. So that said, there were a lot of questions that we all had that kind of went unanswered until the event started, which I'll get into. But before we begin, I want to show you a couple of clips of the magical morning that it was once it was all said and done. It was definitely a core memory. It was something I hope we get to do again. And as my friend said, you know, I really felt it blended well with specifically Princess weekend. Like, I think that that is a wonderful way to start off the weekend because everyone was dressed up in their pinks and their purples and blues and, you know, Cinderella blue and everything. So it worked really, really well, and it fit definitely with the theme. So there wasn't a ton of communication from runDisney when this began. I believe when we signed up, it was $95, and I'm not gonna lie, I signed up because I was like, I will never get an opportunity to do yoga in front of the castle. And although I'm not a certified yoga instructor, I love yoga. I get such a high from it, and it's something I've always enjoyed since high school. So it's definitely on my list to get certified, but that's a whole other topic. But anyway, so when they announced that they would be doing something like this, immediately I was like, yes, sign me up for that. So typically the Princess Half Marathon race weekend, it starts on a Friday with the 5K, and then you normally need to get to the Expo on Thursday to pick up your bibs and your shirts and everything like that. So this event was actually on Thursday morning, super early in the morning. So we were all a little confused. Like, do we just sign up and show up? Are they going to just check our ID? Do we need to bring a waiver? And initially, runDisney told us that there was not going to be any transportation whatsoever to the event. So when I originally signed up, I assumed there would be buses to Magic Kingdom like they do bus us into Epcot for the races. So when they announced that, I was like, well, a little confused, but also I was renting a car, so I just assumed I would drive to the TTC. A couple weeks before yoga, they actually sent us an email and had us take a poll. Are you driving, or are you relying on Uber? Are you going to hope there's a bus? And there must have been a lot of feedback hoping that there would be a bus available, because then they announced that all of the resorts would have only one bus to take you into the TTC. So even though they had a bus available, I decided to take my car. I was very, very nervous. And they said that parking was only available from 3:45 on. That doesn't mean I did not leave my hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning, because a bunch of my other friends were doing that as well. And I picked up my friend at the Contemporary. We were just really nervous. So we're like, well, you know, if the gates closed, we'll just be the first ones there and we'll just wait with our car outside of the Magic Kingdom gate. Fortunately, the TTC parking lot was open well before 3:45. So I want to say we got there around 3:20. We parked and we were pretty much the first row of cars in that giant Magic Kingdom parking lot. And we got to the TTC right where security starts. I would say we were about 30th or so in line at that point. So there were people there ahead of us earlier than 3:20. And then by the time they started letting people through security, the line was well past that bridge, if you've been there before, and all the way down to the parking lot. So I am glad that we got there early. Note to all of you, if you do this next year, if they do have it available, I'm not sure. I would definitely get there early if you're really concerned about getting a good spot or getting there early. I'm someone, I get a little anxious for events like this, so I just like to be there, go to the bathroom, settle in, meet some friends, things like that. So I will tell you, and I've had this issue with runDisney in the past, especially with the website, is that I log in and it says, yay, congratulations, you're not registered for anything. So if you are a runDisney newbie and this happens to you, please do not be nervous. They'll 100% fix it for you at the expo if you have in fact registered for your race. So fortunately, I just printed out my email confirmation, and when I got there, I was like, hey, I couldn't print out my waiver because it says I'm not registered for anything, including the races. And they were like, no problem. So they fixed me all up. It took about 5 extra minutes. It really wasn't that big of a deal. Just make sure you bring your ID. Then you'll sign your waiver, you'll hand it to the person, and they will literally just walk you onto the ferry. They had 2 ferries full of people. Fortunately, I got onto the first ferry. We had a very Titanic Jack and Rose moment, you know, watching the beautiful castle in the distance. So at this point, it must have been like 4-ish. I believe sunrise yoga started at 5:30. So again, we still had quite a bit of ways to go. So after we got off the ferry, guys, don't run, okay? We all want the best spot we can get, but running and having that mentality of like competitiveness to start off a yoga session is really just not the vibe. So people were running and I was in like Birkenstocks, flip-flops. Like there's no way I'm gonna be running to get a spot for yoga. So my friend and I were joking, we were practicing our like speed walking just to like keep up. But yeah, I was not gonna run through wet puddles just to get 1 or 2 places in front of someone else. But what happens is you get off the ferry, you walk under the normal ticketing booth, right? Then you will get into, I think there were like 6 different spots for lines. I made a joke that if my Target experience can show you anything, I probably pick the worst line to be in. Fortunately, this one time in my life, I did not. We were the first group of people to get taken into Magic Kingdom. Okay, now this is when it truly got magical. If I could pick one part of the entire weekend, that was my favorite. It was this mistake, okay? So what happened was they took us as the first group to go back. And I want to say, I mean, there were maybe 40 people, really probably not even that many. So because I think out of everyone, there were 1,200 total people registered and there were 2 ferries. And since we were on the first ferry and then we were broken up into all these different groups, it really wasn't a lot of people. And you'll see in my video clip just how little was in our first group. So they take us through and we're just like having this moment, right? We see the flagpole, we see the fire station, and all the lights are on and music is playing. Now, mind you, we just got bum rushed. So people were running. So my friends and I were like, we're still going to speed walk like it's Black Friday, you know, all the way until they tell us to stop. So we're walking. We're trying not to be crazy, but we're also still, you know, keeping a good pace. Then all of a sudden we stop and we look around. There is no one behind us. We are one of 40 to 50 people, the only ones on Main Street. And we're just standing there in awe. We could not believe number one, that we had rushed to literally nothing because there's no one behind us. Number 2, we couldn't believe that we were standing here alone together, you know, in this magical, I mean, I can't even put it into words right now, just how beautiful it was. And everyone in that group, we just kind of looked around at each other and we're like, this is pretty incredible. So we took a bunch of pictures, you know, tried to be like the only ones on Main Street and did that whole thing. And it was really fun. And then one of the cast members said, you know what, actually, we let you guys in too early. We're going to need you to go back in again. And so we're like, sure. And we turn around and we're like, let's just see like how slow we can walk back out. So we took a bunch of pictures again. Just to kind of, and they didn't really mind. They were just like, whatever. So once it was about 4:45-ish, then they really started to allow people to come back in. So they took our group back. We got to find our spot and it was just first come, first serve. So basically the castle is so big that no matter where you go, you'll be able to see from some point of view. Of course, there were some spots on Main Street that were in the very, very back that maybe you couldn't see as well. But really, I mean, you don't ever really have a bad spot in Magic Kingdom. So they gave us plenty of time to find a spot. They had a yoga mat and a water bottle for everyone, which I'll show you in just one second. And they just gave you time to take pictures, settle in, use the restroom, things like that. So now they had one main instructor in front of the castle, and then they had 2 to 3 other instructors, one by Tomorrowland, one by Adventureland, and one on Main Street on platforms. So just in case you were able to see no matter where you were. So the yoga mat that we got, I had it out earlier for a client. It's already kind of tearing apart, which kind of sucks because it was $100, but it is what it is. So it's that standard runDisney blue. We were all kind of hoping for it to be pink or purple. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just repeating things that were said. And we were all really hoping for a crown to be printed on it, a castle, or just even Princess Half Marathon Weekend. But maybe because it's the first time, they just did what they have done for cast members by giving them the normal runDisney blue yoga mat. And then maybe in the future, they will do something different. It also came in this really cute runDisney carrying case. So if you are planning on doing yoga for springtime surprise, or doing it if they ever have it in the future, just plan for that to pack it on the way home, because that definitely was a size issue on the way back. So the yoga started at 5:30. It was about 50 minutes total. It was beautiful. And I would say it was very beginner friendly. Like at some points, it was a lot of more meditative Savasana and things like that. And the absolute cutest part is when the yoga instructor, she didn't do this a lot, okay? She only said it maybe once, maybe twice, where she factored in a Disney element, but she was like, and now we're gonna twist towards Tomorrowland. And it was just kind of a surreal moment. Like I said, I've always really loved yoga. I've always loved Disney. I mean, who doesn't? And just to be there in silence with a dark sky and the castle lit up, and nothing but birds chirping, and hearing those words, and laying on my back and realizing I'm laying in a spot that people camp out for 3 hours before the fireworks. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And then at the end, I didn't get this on video. I'm so bummed because I was just trying to take it in. But Cinderella came out and she did her whole little spiel and she said a few words, and then they had fireworks. It reminded me a lot of the Tinkerbell 5K that they used to have at Disneyland, that I really wish they would bring back, because they started it at the castle. Tinkerbell flew and there were fireworks. It was absolutely beautiful. So I just want to say I overall give this event a 10 out of 10. I think communication on transportation for the future, I'm hoping that that is better. It was just a little sticky, but you know what? Once we got there, everything was totally fine. They were not super quick to rush us out, but they definitely were like, you guys got to go. The ferries are here. Like, because we ended up taking a lot of sunrise pictures, which was beautiful. And I want to say the whole yoga class was about 50 minutes. So it wasn't super long or anything. People were super dressed up. Some people were, which was really cute. So a lot of people went straight from yoga to the expo. And at the time, okay, this is like 7:15, we're walking from Magic Kingdom back to the ferries. People were saying that there had been people already there since about 4:30 lined up for the expo, which is insane. But you know what, to each their own. So for me, I didn't choose to go right to the expo. I went back to my room because I had my family there. We had breakfast and I took it really easy. And honestly, I didn't even go to the merchandise portion of the expo. I just went and got my bibs and my shirts and I came back because, you know, having your family there for runDisney weekend is really tough because they're not really interested in doing the merchandise. They just want to go do rides. And it was already hot. I didn't want to leave them in the car. But I will say, running buddies are the absolute best kinds of friends to have, because my friend picked me up one of the Corksicle cups as a surprise. And this is so incredibly sweet because I saw this and I wanted it so bad, but I knew that if I didn't wait in the line, that there was no chance I was going to get it. And so she surprised me with this the day after the half marathon. And the best part, okay, so it's this like super shimmery pink, right? Which of course it has Cinderella, Mulan, Moana, and Tiana on it, which was the themes for the weekend. It says the Princess Half Marathon 2022, but the best part, so my favorite colors are pink and green, and the lid was green, which I had no idea that it was. So anyway, So yeah, that was, besides my t-shirts, that was really my only takeaway from the expo. So I hope you enjoyed my yoga recap and my videos that I took. Like I said, I was really trying to take it in. So this whole weekend, I didn't really take any like YouTube worthy videos. I just tried to be in the moment. So I'm going to factor in the videos that I did take and spruce it up hopefully from there. But if you have any questions about the yoga or anything like that, feel free to drop me a comment down below, like, subscribe, do all the fun things. And next we will talk about the 5K. All right, next we will talk about the 5K. Have a great day. See you later.